This is a $146 billion a year market, so there's a lot of interests out there. But subsidies are in the area, in the level of $20 to $30 billion a year.
Lucas, what is the global plan for sustainable fishing?
Well, actually, there is no global plan specifically for sustainable fishing. The concern with overcapacity and overfishing is part of the SDG framework. In UN terms, this was the world plan really for sustainable development, adopted in 2015 by all 196 heads of state and government. And that laid down a world plan for managing the resources of the planet in a more sustainable way, a more responsible way towards future generations, promoting decent jobs, tackling climate change, and addressing the concerns of marine resources. It is appalling that to date we still have countries supporting illegal fishing around the world. Second target is the whole question of enabling developing countries, small island developing states, to access markets for their fishery products. And the third is the question of fishery subsidies. A large part of the problem of unsustainable fishing is due to the use of fishery subsidies in those countries that can subsidize, of course, improving their fleet capacity, and they can fish further out in the seas, they can fish around the globe very efficiently, and they are harvesting these fishery resources in a very fast pace. This is a $146 billion a year market, so there's a lot of interests out there, but subsidies are in the area, in the level of $20 to $30 billion a year. So for every $1 that is traded internationally, in every $5, $1 is subsidized by notably developed countries.
Now, how can we regulate fishers who do not register their catches?
Well, actually, not registering their catches is an illegal activity. So like all illegal activities, it has to be curbed, it has to be stopped. There is no real regulation. The way, because the oceans is a very complex, say, territory. It's vast and it's not owned by anybody individually, no individual countries. Fisheries are managed in two ways. Within their exclusive economic zones, there are national management plans. Beyond that, in the high seas, there are the regional fishery management organizations. Some of them are very efficient, so they manage to ensure that fisheries and some species are not depleted too fast, so that they can reproduce and they can be sustainably managed. But in other areas, notably in some developing areas of the world, these regional authorities are not able to ensure sustainable management practices. So there is no real world regulation, if you will. This is the way the world tries to manage. But we're not doing a very good job. For example, in the Black Sea and in the Mediterranean, over 70% of the fisheries species are being over-depleted, meaning they are being harvested at unsustainable levels, meaning that if we continue to do like this, there will be less fish in the future.
Now, what is the UN doing to reward people who are using sustainable fishing techniques, and how are they helping developing areas to use these techniques as well?
Yes, what we are doing in UNCTAD, which stands for the United Nations Conference on Trade and Development, is to support notably developing countries to enhance and introduce good management plans within their economic exclusive zones. within their territory. So in a way, we are helping those countries that depend largely on their fishery industries to manage that resource more wisely, we say more sustainably in economic and environmental terms. So in a way, it's an indirect reward system, and that's how we hope the global fishery product market will be totally certified. And the challenge really is to enable developing countries to be able, on one hand, to access markets that they are able to differentiate and certify their own products, and on the other hand, try to phase out some of the harmful fisheries which are really giving some countries the capacity to overfish, and this overcapacity is really part of the problem, especially those in developed countries.
Well, thank you so much, Lucas, for joining me in the studio today. It's been an absolute pleasure speaking with you.
Thank you very much, and it was a pleasure to be here with you today.
And thank you at home for watching. Don't forget to click back to Dukascopy TV for more interviews on marine life and fishing. Goodbye for now.